It is Wednesday the 2nd of February 2022. Now on Saturday this fruit cage fell victim to Storm Storm Malik. We've had 3 big storms in the last few weeks, and it's going to be difficult at times to remember which one was which, but Storm Malik on Saturday brought down a big conifer tree and it crashed down into the corner of the fruit cage which I'm in now. Now this is, as I say, a fruit cage where I've been keeping the chickens, or some of them, during the poultry restrictions that are in place to tackle avian flu. But all of the chickens were fine, and last night we moved them out temporarily, except for the 3 cockerels, because the chickens were moved to the other fruit cage on our near side allotment, which has 43 chickens in it and a number of cockerels, so putting new cockerels into there wouldn't have gone down too well, because they would have fought. As you can see, the tree has now gone, and the fruit cage has been rebuilt in the corner, and there's a few more jobs still to do, particularly putting the wire netting on, but this job should be finished probably tomorrow, which means that we can move the chickens back in. So the posts are being concreted into place, and as you can see, big gaps in the wire netting. So that's the job for tomorrow, is to sort that out. And there's the cockerels, you can see 2 of them there. Third one is just underneath the hutch there. Oh, and they've spilt their water again, so I shall have to top that up again. So these are the remains of the tree. As you can see, it was a fair size, so we were lucky that it caused damage that was easily repaired. It is Thursday the 3rd of February 2022. As you can see, I'm in the Winnie's fruit cage. Now this was the one that was hit by the falling tree over the weekend, and I just turn around and you can see it has all now been repaired. So we took the hens out a few days ago. We just left the 3 cockerels here, and they were actually in one of the hutches here, and we can now start bringing the hens back, but I've let the cockerels out into the run itself. So this was the cage that they were in, and that is Columbus. He's a Columbine, and this is an unnamed cockerel at the moment, but we're keeping him. He is a white leghorn, and this one here is just a crossbreed, and sadly for him, he'll be joining us for dinner shortly. So when the hens on our near side plots go to roost, they're all in the fruit cage we have there at the moment, but when they go to roost, that'll be the time to collect them up and move them back here, or at least move some of them back here. But we're going to rationalise where some of them are going, because we've got some of the Columbines were in the near side, some were on this plot, and some of the other breeds of chickens are the same, and there are some that we're wanting to breed, which is the reason why we have the cockerels. So the Columbines, the white leghorns, and the Rhode Island Reds will be coming back here, and as I say, we'll be breeding them later this year. It's raining at the moment. Now, normally we wouldn't regard that as unusual in our winters up here, but January was exceptionally dry. Normally we're plodding around knee deep in mud, but this time we weren't. We don't know yet how that will impact us for the rest of the year, but as you can see, the sheep, or most of them, are using the hedge as a shelter. Tell you what, they've certainly done a good job on the trees and the branches that we put in for them. Loads of them are stripped bare. You can see on the other side of the fence where the sheep are, they've done the same. So they've had a good meal out of this lot. One of the reasons why I've come down to the main field is Florence here. As you can see, she is very pregnant and her udders are bugging up quite well. So I'm going to walk her up to our near side plot where she won't have the two billies, the two older billies, Perky and Sunny, but she will be in with Ramesses, but we think it should be better there because once the babies come it's easier for us to deal with them, and also on that plot we have Bubble, who is also very pregnant, but I suspect a little behind Florence. So we're going to walk her down to the near side. It's only about a 10-minute walk, but the billies aren't going to like this. They're going to be quite upset. They have quite a strong attachment to each other, so sadly they'll have to let her go. Well, she has just arrived at the near side, and Bubble and Ramesses are checking her out, and she's not taking any nonsense from them. It is Saturday the 12th of February 2022. Over there is our old duck run, and as you can see it is a bit of a wreck. I've had it here for quite a few years now. It's built around the pond that you can see there, which urgently needs to be cleaned out. Now we have to get this demolished. It's just not going to survive for much longer, and it has been kept the ducks safe from the foxes, but I don't think it's going to do that for much longer, because if we have any more any more gales, and we've had 3, maybe 4 if you count what's happening at the moment this winter, we've had say 3.5 gales, then I'm not sure that this will stand up. So we've had to build a new duck run. So old duck run here, and here is the new one. It's netted over. That's so that we are compliant with avian flu regulations, because we've got to keep all the birds caged. And inside is a good amount of space, but as you can see, we've put our buff orpingtons into here from the greenhouse, and the reason we want to do that is because we want to be breeding the buffs. So that's the cockerel there, and we've got 4 hens, so there's 2 there. I think the other 2 have gone into the hen house. There's one of them. I think there's a 4th one, I checked a few minutes ago, was laying. So This is one of our old hen houses which has gone through various stages of repair in the past and has gone through another one in the last few days. But at some point in the next day or so we're going to move the ducks into here as well. So there she is. So our plans for this year are to breed various types of hen, various types of chicken, and that includes the Buff Orpingtons, but we've also got Ginger Nut Rangers, we've got Rhode Island Reds as well. That's my favourite breed. We've got a variety of others as well, but they will need to be kept separate in separate runs to make sure that there's no crossbreeding. So once we've moved the ducks out of here, this old run will be demolished and rebuilt with new or newer materials. I'm sure we'll end up recycling something to build it. A bit like our new run here, which other than the net, everything else was made from reused materials. The pond will also be fully drained, cleaned out and refilled with clean water, and once the avian flu restrictions have been lifted, we'll leave this run open through the day so the ducks can come in and out as they please, but obviously it will be closed up in the evening to protect them from any foxes. Unfortunately we haven't had any fox problems for I think four years now, which is helpful. But I'm not going to say, because it'll be tempting fate, that we have no fox problem anymore. We live next to woodland and agricultural land, so there's going to be foxes around, so we've got to take all precautions necessary. It is Thursday the 17th of February 2022. We had another gale last night, a really strong one. I forgot what they called it, but these once in every 10-year gales seem to be blowing once every 2 days, because tonight we're expecting another gale, this one to be even worse, and I can remember the name for this coming one. It's called Eunice, and also expected to bring snow as well. So, right, we'll need to just keep an eye on this place in terms of any damage. What may not survive this storm is the duck run behind me. So the job for this afternoon is to catch the ducks and move them to our new duck run, which is there. You can see the gate to it, and you might just be able to see through the gate that we've got our Buff Orpingtons in there. But what do you need to catch a duck? Oh, a net. So wish me luck. Right, that's it, now empty, ready for demolition. So they're all now in the duck run. We've moved their shelter in here as well, although we're going to have to move this water trough, because at the minute when they get in here and splash around, it all flows out under their shelter, so that's going to have to change. And down this side, and there are more of the ducks. Well, as you can see, that wasn't the cleanest of jobs. I think I need a shower.
Yeah, I think we just got to try and roll this up once.
It is Saturday the 19th of February 2022. We have built a new duck run, and we are now at the point where we are demolishing the old duck run, because we moved the ducks out of the old duck run, and if we didn't demolish the old duck run, then it probably would have fallen down in the first gale anyway. So today we are dismantling what is left of the roof of the pond, of the run, and then we're going to get started on pumping out the muck from the pond.
I'll start to do from the gateway up that way, and then that.
It's Sunday the 20th of February 2022. I'm on our new land. This is turn around, you can see behind us here. So added 14.5 acres to our small holding, so it's gone from 2.5 acres to 17 acres. Quite a leap. There's another gale blowing as well. They're going to run out of names soon for these gales because we've just had so many. But this is the first day that we've actually started working on a new land. You might just be able to hear the chainsaw going in the background. So what we're doing is cutting back a lot of the dead overhanging branches from the neighbouring woodland, and these branches, if they're left there, will block the tractor that will eventually be brought onto the site to cut the hay, because this is going to be a hay meadow that we've got here, and we need to take those overhanging branches off or else it will damage the tractor. So that's the job for today. Right, it's now tipping it down, so we've called it a day for the time being, or wimps that we are, and we've loaded up the pickup. So on this side it's the smaller stuff that doesn't need splitting, on that side it's all the bigger stuff that does need splitting, and this is all from branches that have been dead for at least a year. Some of them I think have been dead for quite a few years, so it's nice and dry and it can be used immediately for firewood. It is Tuesday the 22nd of February 2022. I'm in our lean-to shelter on the near side, which is the shelter that's next to our main goat house, and it's occasionally used by the goats. Now, one of our goats, Janie, we weren't intending breeding her, but she managed to get pregnant, and I came here just about half an hour ago and found that she was in labour, not only in labour, but she was in the middle of giving birth, but it was a very, very difficult birth. The baby's front legs were showing, but the head wasn't. So I had to put my hand inside, and I realised that the head was bent back. So I had to give her an assisted birth. Poor little thing. Unfortunately, the baby is dead. I think Janie, poor little thing, is absolutely knackered, and that there is the baby, so we're going to have to dispose of it. I've put the coat over her to keep her warm because she's clearly not in a hurry to move, so we'll keep an eye on her throughout the afternoon. It's been about an hour since the birth, and she's up and about, which is a good sign. But we'll be checking up on her all day, so make sure that she's okay. And she's now eating Christmas trees, so the fact that she's eating is even better. So that's always a good sign. Also keeping an eye on Florence, who is very heavily pregnant. Can't go on for much longer given the size of her. So certainly got 2 babies there. Just waiting for the right moment. People have all sorts of waste that they give us, and we have the view that somebody else's waste is our resource. So we get things like jam jars, shredded paper, branches from trees, people even get their grass cuttings, and their newspapers, all useful. But today we have been collecting paving stones. Lots of paving stones, and these have all come from a friend's garden who would otherwise have thrown them out. So we're going to use these on our near side plot. They're useful for the goats because it gives a hard standing and it helps keep their hooves under control. But we're also going to lay them out around the edge of the new duck run as a precaution against foxes, because it stops them from being able to dig under the fencing. It is Friday the 25th of February 2022. We're in the duck run. This is the one that we closed down a week or so ago, and we pumped out most of the water from the pond, and we were left with a huge thick layer of silt at the bottom of it. So in the centre of the pond there, it's deeper than the surrounding area, so this is a ledge around the edge here. And of course the silt has all accumulated at the bottom there. So my job for today is to try and scoop out as much of that as possible. Now here in the duck run, what I'm also doing is shoveling out the top layer of muck on the ground, which is quite thick because it's wood chip and wood shavings, and that's all going to come out as well, and it goes onto the compost heap along with the silt, which will be excellent for the plants. But here is the compost heap, and that is next to the new duck run. So the muck doesn't have a long journey to go, it's literally just a few metres, but it just takes the time to shovel it out into the wheelbarrow. And I think it's now time for lunch. It is a lovely sunny day today. It actually feels like spring, and as you can see, the bees seem to think the same as well. Meanwhile, Florence is keeping us guessing as to when she's going to have her babies. We've started moving some of the paving stones we got the other day to the edge of the new duck run. Still haven't finished yet, but the reason we do this is to make it much harder for the foxes to try and dig their way through into the duck run. Fingers crossed we haven't had a fox problem for about 4 years, but I'm not taking any chances. Well, It's now gone 5 o'clock, so it's starting to get dark. So we've got most of the silt out, but this lot's going to have to be washed down and then pumped out. And then on this side, as you can see, we've got most of the muck removed, except for this end and this corner. But this frame here used to be part of a polytunnel, and what we're thinking of doing is removing it from here because it serves no purpose here, and we'll put it on another part of the allotment. We've still got the rods for it, so we can make the frame, and we can then cover that in wire netting and use that as an additional chicken run. But finishing off the pond is a job for tomorrow because I am feeling knackered, so I will shortly do the lockup and then head back home. It is Sunday the 27th of February 2022. We have for the last few months been in an avian flu outbreak, and therefore we have to keep all our animals caged or in runs. So nothing free range at the moment, and we have had 30 of our birds in the fruit cage on the Winnie's Community Garden. They were happy about that because the birds will their poop will manure the ground and fertilise the plants. They're quite happy with that, and it means that I had another area that we could put our chickens into. The problem is spring seems to be coming a little bit early this year, so there's concerns that the chickens will be pecking away at the fruit plants, and the buds will be lost, and there will be no crop, so no soft fruit crop. So the Winnies have understandably asked if I'll be in a position to move the chickens as soon as possible. So I've said yes, that shouldn't be a problem. Sorry, Ramesses, our young billy goat here, is being a bit of an attention seeker at the minute. So we've said that to the Winnies, no problem. We were planning to build a new run anyway, and all we do is bring forward the date when we would start to build it. So I'm walking up the bank here on our near side allotment, and desperately trying to avoid getting jumped on by Ramesses. And I've now actually walked into the new run that we are building up against the hen house that we built last year, which is this here, and we closed it down once the avian flu outbreak started because it doesn't have a run against it, so literally any of the chickens in here would just go free range around the allotment, so not allowed. So it was closed down for the outbreak of avian flu, and we're now going to bring it back into use, which means this is Ramesses here, so being a bit of a pest. So we're going to have to build a run on this next to this hen house. So we have made a start, and the posts are all in place but not yet quite set into the ground. All these posts were from just recycled or reused material, repurposed, and we need to get the posts properly secured into place, which is a job for tomorrow. Certainly the job for today was to actually get these posts set as they are now, and then the netting will go on, and netting over the top of this will go in place as well. What we're going to do though is to set this up so that there will be another hen house here in the new run. Sorry, Ramesses is really being a pain at the minute, aren't you, big lad, hey? So we're going to put a hen house in here, and there will be times when the avian flu outbreak is over when the chickens that will go into the hen house here will not be allowed into this run. Instead, those chickens will go free range. The hens in this run will be used for breeding, so we can separate out the different breeds that we've got and make sure that they are being purebred. This is our old duck run, which we are currently demolishing and will rebuild. As you can see, the pond is now empty, but it has been fully cleaned out, and Ramesses is again showing off. Now, we had a big polytunnel frame in here, and today we took that out and we have moved it temporarily to here, but that is going to be rebuilt as well on this site as another chicken run, to make sure that we got enough runs for the different breeds of chickens we'll be breeding. So this is the muck that came out of the pond, and some of it out of the duck run as well. So this will rot down, and in a year's time will be absolutely fantastic compost. So this is the new duck run, where we have put all the ducks from the old duck run, plus the Buff Orpingtons. That's the buffs there. That's Eric the cockerel, and this is one of the breeds that we'll be producing this year. That's the hen house over there. So the ducks will come out of here once the avian flu is gone, and the Buff Orpingtons will stay in here. The ducks will go back to the duck run, but by then it will be fully rebuilt and it will be bigger as well. Ramesses is about 8 months old now, so he's fair size and he's continuing to grow. Absolutely beautiful animal. We're going to have to tag his ears, which he won't like us for, but we are thinking of moving him up to our small holding, where he can be with the two older billies. So we haven't decided yet when to do that, but at some point soon he'll be on the move. Well, what a way to end the month. You might just be able to hear a little bleating. Florence has had her babies. Not one, not two, but 3. And they're all in good health and all survived the birth, and they're just trying to get on their feet now. It's 3 girls. I couldn't have asked for anything better. One of them has found where the milk is already. Because she's had 3 babies, we're going to have to give her a lot more help to make sure that they all survive. But they're all a good size. The only other time we've had 3 born to one nanny was a few years ago, and you could see that one was the runt, and in fact the runt, what we call Tiny Tim, didn't actually survive for more than a day, but that baby was much smaller than the others, whereas her babies, Florence's babies here, are all a good size. So I've taken some milk off Florence and I've already fed it to each of the babies, and they took to the bottle straight away. It's like food time.